Alright, Charmin. I know you don't watch the trailers, so you probably don't know what we're making today. But we're gonna play a little game of charades, and you can guess what we're gonna be cooking today. Alright?
Tomato.
What? Well, yeah. I guess. How did you?
I could just tell the way you were trying to draw. And also you were wearing a red apron.
I didn't even... Okay. Enough of it. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of One Plate Gourmet. Today we'll be making tomatoes, and we will be using these plump, juicy, ripe tomatoes, and of course all these other ingredients here. We're going to be making a tomato stew, which is quite different from your typical marinara sauce or whatever. Anyway, let's get started. We'll be using about a half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 clove garlic, 1 habanero pepper, half an onion, 1 stock cube, some ginger, some nutmeg, and curry powder, about a teaspoon of each, a couple of bay leaves, some parsley, some basil, some thyme, some freshly ground black pepper, tomato paste or tomato puree, and 2 ripe plump tomatoes. We're going to first start off by mincing up our ingredients. So we're going to start with an onion by making incisions on the sides and then cutting them like so. And then we're going to do the same to our habanero pepper. We're going to mince these up. We don't want, if it's too hot, you can take out the seeds, but the seeds do add a nice kick to the stew. Next, we're going to mince up our garlic like so. And then we're going to place these in a nice bowl. See-through classic clear bowl. Then we're going to take our tomatoes and we're going to cut them in half and make incisions on them like we did the onions. And then we're going to proceed to cut them into nice, small, tiny pieces. This is because when it comes down to it, we don't want the tomatoes to be in chunks. Then we're going to cross-hatch them like this until they're nice and fine. How big they are actually depends up to you. Place these guys in a bowl and let's get started. Now, tomatoes are a fruit, not a vegetable, and hence they have a lot of water in them. So because they have higher water content, we don't want our stew to be watery. So we're going to just cook these guys down for a bit. Just wait till it boils on high heat, and then just with your spoon, you can just check to see if the water is separated enough of the tomatoes, like so. And we're going to sieve these guys out. So we're going to take it off the stove, turn your stove off. And we're just going to transfer these to a bowl and a sieve. So just strain it through the sieve and get all that extra water out of the tomatoes. Just use your spoon and pat it down and then let it drip out so that there's no more extra water left in the tomatoes. We don't want any of that. Then we're going to transfer it back to our pot, in which we are then going to add in our tomato paste or tomato puree. I don't know whichever you call it. It's practically the same. Next, we're going to add in our garlic, our habanero pepper, and our onions, and we're going to let these guys get to know each other a little bit better. So the title of this dish was actually inspired by a scientific term, which means speeding up time but keeping it relevant to the view. What? That's wrong? Oh, it's wrong. Never mind, it actually just means tomato in another language. Then we're going to add in our olive oil or vegetable oil. I use vegetable oil in this. Just mix it up, and then we'll add in our bay leaves. Once this is done, we're going to let this sit for about 15 to 20 minutes over medium heat. Your stew should start to look something like this. After then, we're going to add in our stock cubes. If you don't want to use stock cubes, you could go ahead and use salt, I guess. And then add in the rest of your ingredients, your nutmeg, your ginger, your curry, your parsley, your basil, and your thyme. It should be about 1 teaspoon of each, by the way. Mix these guys in and let it cook for a few more minutes, and then let simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. Once this is done, just check it with a spoon. Your oil should be less cloudy than it was before. And then go ahead and taste it. And not the oil, the stew. Taste the stew, not the oil. Tragic. And your stew is ready to serve. You can plate it over some nice white rice. I'll link it in the description if you want to learn how to make the fluffiest white rice. Or if you like, you can plate it over some nice freshly boiled potatoes, your choice. Or you can just have it for breakfast with some nice bread rolls. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to see the trailer for this episode, go ahead and click up there. If you want to see another episode, go ahead and click down there. Yeah, you never cried because of peppers before? You
like
don't
if I
feel
touch
any remorse for taking away a life of this?
Okay.